Marka, Kizino, Che Tamche, Tianjin, Jewa Juma Inza, and Gale Motiva Rang on the Tubadi, Zawin Yomares, she's not Chetamche ranking on the Matubare, that's our in Junior Mares, Rangun Tubas, Zawin Junior Mares, as in Tianjin Jawa Jumares. Dineza, Sanyu Jimlin Di, and the Tianjin Jawa Jumbi, Ton, and the Dembani, Namcha Sumba Della, and Jikasun Odu, and she had and the Tabash Sanyu Jimlin Delia, and Delia Jike Maresia, the Junjura, Yonhugo Maresia, on the name that the Garsene. Tawaro Tiazumra Yovina, Sanyu Jimni, Tianjin, Jawa Juma, the Delay Jumsendi, some time do, and Sanyu Jimni, so I didn't win a Dembaim body. I was ready to go yesterday. On the Gorma Shuroxy.
Good evening. So last time we spoke about how all phenomena without exception are dependent arisings. They arise independence on other, independence on causes or imputation or parts. There's not a single phenomenon that can be found anywhere, whether an inner or outer phenomenon, that exists inherently. And moreover, no phenomenon has ever been inherently existent. So it's not that phenomena were at one point inherently existent and now no longer are. All phenomena, without exception, have never, ever been anything other than dependent arisings. And Buddha Shakyamuni taught this in his presentation on dependent arising. And there was no one who could refute this presentation of the Buddha on dependent arising. There's no one who could refute this with any logic or any valid reasoning. So therefore, his students, ourselves, can have confidence in the truth and the validity of the teaching on dependent arising. And that's what we were looking at last time.
Sanyu Jumnendigi and Soyaki, Chili, Bemasiki, Chike, and Janda Jawares, and Chike, Delia, Dumbashandai, Somale, Chaba the Papa Res, and Jeremy Korongi, Sanyi, the Nigu Sonia, and Shimju Jay, Bemasibi, Sanyu Sonadi, and Delia Habas Minu, said, and Jeremy Korongi, Yadenigi, and Kempare, said the Niti Gormashi.
So I shall continue in the text, and we come to a verse where Geshe Rinpoche praises Buddha Shakyamuni for this peerless teaching, this teaching that he himself, Geshe Rinpoche himself, has investigated and come to see clearly that there is nothing superior to this presentation on dependence arising. That's the 30th verse. Since this very path of dependence arising is the reason your speech is regarded as peerless, certainty arises in the validity of your other teachings as well.
Sanyu Jumne Korongi Yama and the Jigge, Lamlia, Gom, Yam Tuba, Jig, Jam Nije, Nijige, Nature Jasmiada, Tawadi, Gomje, Gom, and Yamlen Mongo, Jolomongo, Yamlen Jeje, and Yamlen China Sosugula, and Sanyu Jumne Korongi, Yende Maluba, Chazan Topoetic, Chazan Top Gun, Chazan Se, Gun Chazan Se, Gun, Bangway, Bang, Chazan Bang, Toge, Yende Chazan Pang, Topje, and Sanyu Jumne Korala. Nyamyo yobaji, nyamyoji, nyamyo yobares. Jiza, dinigi nyamyo tone, sanyu jumnendi ma, ane jige, dingi denpa nishin namsha, ane dinshin jawa juwi tone, ane ya, nga zoge, sanyu jumne korongi lam nyamne je tar, nyomoba ganis bongi me chasang bang je, ane tarba tamji kimbe goba toba inza, di nashin jige nyamyo tone nga zoge ya, dunga siya ta, Digi Tubia Digi and Digi Canis Tubore, Canis Combo, Can Dedu Combala, Digi in the Tubure Siana, and Duma Digi and Azuki Dungadi Pasia, Lam Digum, Denicum, Dunga Setuburi, all the Lamgi, Dembadi Ma, Lamgi, Namsha, Denicone, Sonshabadi, and Pemma Sibi, and Demba Shengi, that Susurangi, that Demba Shengi, Susurana, that Dujalikila, Lam de Gimongo, Yorati, Ina, San Jumdi, and Nashinji, Minu, San Jumdi, Pemmasigi, Demba Shen, Kaba the Papa, Chisonsha, over there.
So first, just to say from my side, the Tibetan English is very mixed. So I'm not going to read the English as Geshe goes because it's really very mixed here. Okay, so now again, there's commentary. So Buddha Shakyamuni himself, before he arose in this world as a Buddha, he trained for many years cultivating the various virtuous mental paths of love and compassion and wisdom and all the various mental paths that are required in order for a being to attain perfection, in order for a being to arise as a Buddha. And through this skillful training, the Buddha completed or perfected all good qualities within himself and completely eradicated each and every fault, even the subtlest traces of faults, he completely eradicated. And in that way, he trained and arose as a Buddha. And on the basis of this experience that came through all this training and cultivation of these unmistaken mental paths, he taught the Buddha Dharma, he taught the unmistaken method whereby he attained liberation and enlightenment, and he taught this unmistaken method completely, faultlessly to his students so that they too could cultivate these self-same paths within themselves. He taught what is meant by suffering. He identified the suffering that beings experience and showed them how to, showed them the investigative process to engage in themselves so that they can come to see, to realize for themselves the pervasive nature of suffering in cyclic existence. Moreover, he taught based on his wisdom and his experience the causes of suffering. And he showed to his students the method by which they can come to investigate and realize the causes that keep them bound in the suffering states of samsara. And moreover, he taught that this can be brought to a cessation. These states of suffering that pervade our samsaric experience, these can be brought to cessation. And fourthly, he taught the method, the technique, the mental paths to be cultivated that will lead to a state of liberation, a state that is liberated from suffering. And here, J. Rinpoche has investigated and is praising Buddha Shakyamuni, praising Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings for being peerless, because no other teacher has taught this unmistaken path and taught it in its entirety. So therefore, J. Rinpoche is praising Buddha Shakyamuni.
Jisa J. Rinpoche Sangye Jumden di Sungye Ti Dana Michige Domba Shengyu Sumba Le Kheba Do Papas Ju Jigre Shas Jisa Dinigi Yimbadi and J. Rinpoche Koran Khemba Wada Tikanis Khemba Relana Domba Sangye Jumden di Sungshe Bigi Lamyi Namsha and Dimdi Namsha Samba Sungshe Batela Ya Sungrabia Tubaje and Diduan de Leane and some Dinigi and Gombigi Sosugi and Hako Yodu Dini Sangye Jumdanigi Tige Demba Shengyu Sumba Tile Sangye Jumdangi Sumba Masi Kheba the Papa Resha Samne Jirim Chigi Koron Gombala Dinigi Khembarwada.
J. Rinpoche is praising Buddha Shakyamuni here for his wisdom and his experience. So for being learned and experienced, and he's being praised in this way for being supremely skilled because of the path that he has cultivated within himself, the path that Buddha Shakyamuni cultivated within himself in order to become a Buddha, and then shared that path. In particular, this unmistaken presentation on dependent arising, where the Buddha taught the presentation on dependent arising and didn't present it as mere theory, but he also showed how his students can cultivate the realizations of dependent arising within their own continuum. And he guided his students through all the steps of the meditation so that they can give rise to the wisdom resulting from the realizations of dependent arising within their own continuum. So it's for this reason that the Buddha is being praised.
된다 하고 와드시고로 또 봤시고 저나디지 제름제 상유 점nen지 손셰피 손럽리아 남냠낸 제단의 땡중에 남자 손와디 된마 지게 밭 짐주제 소소에 냠낸 제나 하고도 안 하고 아래에서 손을 와다 된다 하고 이게 토유 김자 하고 김자 가르에서 근데 다 제인주 된발에 상유 점nen지에게 손바디 차벌 봐봐 임바디 김자 가르에라마 아니 电修说的话是商业证明的电钱这话就啊，就像商业证明的该说的是呢，确看的钱呢啊，电钱这话就啊嘛都刚来嘛对吧？让我们就把它要嘛来送过来是，就像电钱这话就啊，因为那有的些个确的个呢，电钱这话就举起来电的举啥或也或啥吧呢，得了电呢，那给我做图过来是，就像那做蓝年的就讲白呢，那商业证明送把那新钱呢， 지냠는 주 공부이나 아 주기 명목을 쳐도 매봐서 두고 진짜 된진 제와 중아 진짜 되니 멤비게 취 뒤지게 취 많이 봐나 취 간에 신나 파 뢰파 되네 따바좀 주어마도 강라에마도 랑문이 주어 싸우게 되면 민도와스 진짜 상이 좀는 디기 되니기 된진 제와 쳐 송아레스 진짜 덤버 잔다 디기 되니기 된진 제와 중아디 송 두고 말레스 하고 송고 말레스 긴거 말와스 되니 인자 상이 좀는 소야디 차보도 파바이메 김전갈 디레스 거제 된진 저어송 진짜 된진 저어송 인자 무연니스도 tum바 차되어요 진짜 덤버 현대 된진 저어 좀 송마도 보인자 당무연니스 tum바 다바 차고 말와 직변에 라메게 가서 건축을 서바리에서 하다 안지기 라시 두바리에서 하다 하는 걸 인제는 소바이나 안 다바 차도 매래 매반자 상유 좀는 이송하리다 개발 파바이메 김전디 된진 저어송 김전디레시 하소.
So Rinpoche is praising Buddha Shakyamuni here for the very realizations that Buddha Shakyamuni gave rise to within his own continuum, and moreover is not being praised solely for having realized the path in its fullest, most complete, most perfected state, but that he taught this. And he taught this in a method that is complete and faultless. In other words, whoever follows the teachings that the Buddha gave and puts them into practice in exactly the way that the Buddha taught, they too will give rise to these self-same realizations that the Buddha himself achieved. So, amongst these teachings, what Rinpoche is particularly praising the Buddha for is the presentation on dependent arising. So whilst all Buddha's teachings are worthy of praise, here he's particularly praising the teachings on dependent arising, where Buddha Shakyamuni taught that all phenomena, whether permanent or impermanent, whether permanent or compounded phenomena, all phenomena, they only exist as dependent arisings. There's no single phenomenon or group of phenomena that have ever existed in any other way. There's nothing that has ever existed inherently. All phenomena are mere dependent arisings, are only dependent arisings. And through realizing what the Buddha has taught, to giving rise to an unmistaken realization of this teaching of dependent arising, the practitioner, the student, or the follower of the Buddha will accomplish huge stores of virtue. If you're continuing to train their mind in this way, cultivating these mental paths, they are able to actually completely eliminate all their afflicted minds. And in this the state of having eliminated the afflicted minds completely comes about through realizing that phenomena are dependent arisings. There's nothing that exists that is not a dependent arising. Everything is dependent. There's no other teacher who has taught this. No other teacher taught the subtlety of dependent arising, that all phenomena, whether permanent or impermanent, are dependent arisings. Other teachers of philosophy, presented that phenomena exist by way of their own nature. They are inherently existent. They exist by way of their own inherent nature. Or they taught a view propounding a creator God. So there are many different philosophical views. But it's only the Buddha who taught dependent arising in its entirety or in its subtlest forms.
Gom Japji Ben Yomo Selia and the Chitinjin Joe Jumi Gumze some Tandu and Della Dine and some Tati Sumbanashi Lamde Gomba in the Yomo Se to your body, Mazusha Tugo Resi. Ninashi Tombani said, Gaji San Yujun and the Dinjin Joe Sumari, Tombani Hago, Tablamia, Dinjin Joe Sumari. Chisan Dinjin Joe Juma, like you do. 先了对牛主播嘛，刚来嘛对吧？让我们的主播要嘛的是，其实电信这话就先了对牛主播送过，先了对牛主播的样的样的，什么大样的，刚来嘛对吧？让我们的主播的动画的多图多啊，是东西多图过了，其实电信这话属于给他不能得了，点呢，那这个动画一点。多图都是这定义南下的多图都是来源这个南下的，俺这车上也不超过图多啊说的，你定义南定义是南下的，南定义也是。
This very path of dependent arising that Buddha Shakyamuni taught, with this method, this technique of dependent arising, this is what leads to the elimination of our afflicted minds. So it's this very presentation of, first of all, the philosophy of dependent arising, and secondly, the technique and how to cultivate it within oneself to give rise to a mental path, realizing a mental path of dependent arising, that one is able to eliminate afflicted minds. And this is because to eliminate afflicted minds, one needs to cultivate the direct antidote, the wisdom realizing emptiness. And amongst the different techniques to realize emptiness, to cultivate this wisdom, realizing that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, the very best, the supreme technique is that of dependent arising. Hence, this path of dependent arising is being praised here because it's through cultivating a mental path of, or cultivating a method of, or an understanding of dependent arising, and training in this repeatedly over a sustained period, that one will come to see that all phenomena only exist independent on other. And coming to see that all phenomena are dependent arisings, whether on parts or causes or imputation by mind, one will be able to realize emptiness. And through this realization of emptiness, one will be able to completely eliminate the cause of our suffering, our afflicted minds.
他们的一个宋咸阳，才嘛就把俺把解释的宋咸阳，所以他经常宋咸是的时候嘞，信徒过去电写为上级宋，但当我们电信这话过，当年呢要上级宋写别个是我都给告诉我嘞，就是过去，那是东北一些的，那大没把本来没大把的送送了，那我就话同的。 산지 송대 계라데네 텐신 저어죠 삼도 논규기 그래서 신도고 그래서 중수고기 동반이 되게 도토도 레규데 다는 지금 나 대수에도 하고 두고로 진짜 디네 인자 텐신 저어서면 람디 삼마당한게 람딜을 때네 산지 송신 변의 신도고기 되게 저기 제바제나 하는 도수야 깔리 하고 차고 신도고기 진짜 산지 룸을 때네 아니 이치에 참아기 오래 진짜 디네 인자 다 되네기 땡진 저 중앙 삼당여도 람디냠서 삼당여도 상기의 순신도 고교 때문에 롱대결이야 이 시기 참아지 되는 게 밖에 두도 세월다 참아 순신야 아니 참아 유바 내밖에 해서도 아니 상기의 롱게 순신 신도 고교 때문에 롱대설이야 근데 이 시기 참아 내밖에 두 되는 자 상기의 순바 나신 돈라 아니 신도 고교 돈라디게 안 돈라 내바디 아니 내바 참아 제명 내바 기도 세월
As one comes to understand this presentation of dependence arising and understand it not just merely intellectually, but it's starting to have an impact on one's way of thinking, then this, of course, leads to a strong faith in the Buddha and the Buddha's teaching on dependence arising. And as one is coming to understand dependence arising and that phenomena lack inherent existence, one is coming to understand a hidden phenomenon, and that is the understanding of emptiness. Because right now our understandings are mainly limited to the world of manifest phenomena, those that appear to our sense consciousnesses. But through the application of our critical analysis, utilizing investigative techniques, we can come to understand phenomena that are hidden to our sense consciousnesses. And we can come to understand them through using our intelligence. And one of those objects is the presentation on emptiness, which is best understood through the presentation on dependence arising. So this hidden object of emptiness of inherent existence, this we can understand, not on our own, but through the guidance and the training of a qualified teacher teaching the Buddha Dharma, teaching the Buddhist teachings on dependence arising. And so when we come to realize this hidden phenomena of the emptiness of inherent existence, when we come to realize something that was previously hidden to us, this will lead to a great faith or trust or conviction in the teachings of the Buddha, and not just of the Buddha Dharma, but of the teacher of the Buddha Dharma, Buddha Shakyamuni himself. And in this way, we will have confidence in his other presentations that we cannot realize for ourselves, we cannot realize for ourselves through the application of our intelligence or our critical analysis. And these are the very hidden phenomena, such as the subtle workings of cause and effect. The subtle workings of cause and effect are, and as well as those other topics that are included in very hidden phenomena, we can only know based on scriptural authority. But if we have come to realize hidden phenomena based on the teachings of the Buddha, this will lead to far more powerful and unshakable faith in the Buddha and the Buddhist teachings. And with that unshakable faith, we will see the validity in his other teachings, his teachings on the very hidden phenomena, such as the subtle workings of cause and effect, subjects that we cannot come to realize for ourselves, but we are solely reliant on scriptural authority.
덴바상이 진리니 결혼 문에 단에 딘진 저와 중요 송비 송제네 아니 지금 아주 타바다 탐지키며 토야게 람 결혼기 아들이야 송샤바들 배 마스터 결혼 하바지 민우 결혼기 되네기 야고 슈주 송샤 디 송바디 안나기 지게 되네기 심주 제장 양양이 되네기 하고 우두스고라다 되는 하고 인자 아니 상이 좀 되네 결혼 배 마시기 젠리 캬바도 봐봐 덴바 젠리 캬바도 봐봐 레샤스 디네 인자는 결혼기 송셰비 덴진 제와주 남삼 땅여도 아니 신도 고교 결혼기 송셰비 신도 고교 덴비 송디게레네 이제 이 시기 참아 아니 내바기 두고도 디네 인자 덴바상이 좀 뱀마스 야고레샤 센디네 덴지 송비고네 아니 지게 되바 후여로 와다.
We summarize this verse then from Rinpoche. Is that, first of all, the Buddha is being praised for his training and his development, and arisal as a Buddha, and then for having taught the entire path to us, and in particular amongst his many teachings, he's been praised here for the presentation on dependent arising, the unmistaken path to liberation. And he's been praised for this with the recognition by Geshe Rinpoche that there's no other teacher who can be compared to Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni is incomparable in that he is the only founder teacher who has realized dependent arising and taught it in the complete and unmistaken way. Not just the coarser understandings of dependent arising, but the very subtlest understandings of dependent arising. And moreover, Geshe Rinpoche is praising Buddha Shakyamuni here, not just on the basis of his own profound study, but his realization based on that study. So through his own, Geshe Rinpoche's own critical analysis of the Buddha's teaching, in other words, through training his own mind in the topic exactly as taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, he's come to see the unmistaken truth. And now, through having come to realize hidden phenomena, such as the emptiness of inherent existence, he has unshakable conviction in the validity, in the validity of the authoritative scriptures of the Buddha in terms of the presentation of the extremely hidden objects, such as the subtle workings of cause and effect.
Taba Dumasia and Digi Duyata, and the Taba Tamji Kimbe Tobeg, Lam, Gom, Yamlin Jetang, Mazoliva, Tienshabati, Tianjin Joe Chuma, Tianjin Joe Chuma, Ditonema, and the Sam Dajang Zulia, Yamen Joris, Sumba Reshas. Jisan Dining, Jerem Jokongi, and Sanya Jimden Digi, Sumba Nashin, Dendigi, Namsha, the Sam Daj Chicken. And Massibe, that's on your gym and the Sunadi, San Jim, the Sumba, Massi, which is from Shas, Jizat Timbanane, Chava the Papa de Shas. Jizat the Nil Lamia was Sunshas, Jizat the Nil in Zadan. Dandala and Jeremji, the Nisosha, that's why I think I want to get Yamlinchi who do some Anzulia. And that about on Anzu in the Hamo, dear Varishas, Jiza, Shahamo watch, Jizamani, and the Pimassi, San Jim and the Sunshabadi. Jigan the Dungasia, Digutubia, Taba Tamji Kimbe Toya, Lam Dilla Hava Jikta, Lam Diam Majabana, Toya Diam Chavana, Taba Tamji Kimbo, top 2 yare, San Jim the Sunshabana, Jim Majabana, and Totuya Mindus, Jizadini and Zane, Chang Ranzulia, and Dadan Ranzugi, and Chige, Chu to be Dian Chabaji Milu Towada, and Ejig Tunye. Chuya Yamlanji, Tunyo Go Yudikabla, and the Chigmajebaina, Pambushure Shasta, Yonshimura Shas, Tineza, Delia, Dendig, Namsha Samta, and Delia, Yamlanji, what she would get Shimura Shas, Wada.
The way then we should take relate to this verse is that seeing this praise from Geshe Rinpoche to Buddha Shakyamuni, we should again generate this conviction, this faith that Buddha Shakyamuni, through his own realization and accomplishment, has taught the unmistaken path, and he has taught it completely, the unmistaken path to happiness. And if we apply ourselves to meditating on these teachings, we too can give rise to an understanding that all phenomena, whether outer phenomena or inner phenomena, whether permanent phenomena or impermanent phenomena, everything that exists lacks inherent existence, despite appearing as if it is so, but is rather a dependent arising. And it's only Buddha Shakyamuni who taught dependent arising. And we ourselves, we have yet to come to realize the emptiness of inherent existence. But through seeing that the Buddha himself, as well as all the great masters who followed him and trained in this presentation, such as Geshe Rinpoche himself, All of these great masters who trained in this technique as Buddha Shakyamuni presented it, they have come to realize the emptiness of inherent existence. So if we do the same as the founder Buddha, as well as all the great masters who have kept the lineage alive, as well as those in this world today, we too can develop this wisdom within ourselves. Now that we have attained this precious opportunity of this rebirth, and we have come to hear this presentation, we have found something of extreme rarity and value. And it's now that opportunity truly resides within the palm of our hands. And it's up to us how we utilize what remains of this life, what remains of this opportunity, and to ensure that what we have found doesn't go to waste.
Tendigin namja samtan to tuguri sungurwa dine nga jugi tendi namja lamsang nga ju tendi chamodi ge samdai de galekha chegurwa chesang ju tendi nga jugi da lojal masna samdana ne ga tangbo la na tangbo tendi raban pha tangbo raba de samda dine raban pha cha pa samda je ndu chene samdai de ge chemor chegin sro.
So we've had a lot of encouragement in this verse to contemplate or to meditate on dependence arising. And then how to do so? So this first, just to say that this meditation on dependence arising is truly of supreme importance, because the more one understands this presentation on dependence arising, the greater our understanding of other aspects of the Buddha Dharma becomes. Whatever other aspects of the path that we are cultivating within ourselves, this is aided by the understanding of dependence arising. The most obvious would be that of cause and effect. Through understanding dependence arising, our understanding of cause and effect of karma deepens. And the other very obvious one would be the emptiness of inherent existence. The more we understand, the subtler our understanding of dependence arising is, the greater our understanding is that all phenomena lack inherent existence. And this is the case not just for cause and effect and the emptiness of inherent existence, but for all aspects of the path, all topics of meditation. They are aided by our understanding of dependence arising. So for us as beginners, we need to receive teachings, read books, and contemplate. Do so repeatedly over a sustained period. First, starting with reflecting on a coarser level of dependence arising. Then slowly, as we continue to reflect on these coarser understandings, we will naturally, through our process of analysis, progress to subtler and subtler understandings. So that's how we need to start as beginners.
Jika sabun rupi taban nyugu jie jiyo bada nyugu di jie jie ya che cha ne di jibu menchi jibu long jie yo bada ngan zuge raba hagu ruwa dini za sabun yuji taban tele tene jibu chungu yo bada ngan zuge raba hagu du gore dini za da ngan zuge liaka kare chebe ne ngan zu jike chebe ne tenjin jewa juyo samdaba ina bene jike sabun tabne jibu chungu yo bada nyugu jie di jibu chungu bada hagu ruwa dine samdaba ina dine samdane dine ki tenjin jewa chungu re chesan dine ki yuji la dine jibu dine chungu yo bada da so sugi da shen liya penbi ki jewa lunga yusum yu kone shen liya ane roba jeba dan penbi jewa jimbi nyamne kabli ina dine ki jike shen liya roba jeba ina da lunga gang tuk jidigo so sugi shen liya penpa dhugu ina dii tohne ane shen liya digi dhugu re keng shen ki kanga sego re senpa chesan dine nga zuki roba jeba la dine shen ki dunga seya dan shen ki kanga seya digi yuwa ngore chesan dine yuwa yuwa ane shen dēla tēne ane sosu inē maungpa na ane jik jebu ane lūliya ane jiki diki yuaya dāng ane jiki wa jebu di yāpo chūyāng di sāigo rēya se dēne ki tēnchi jebu yu sam dāng je yunji ki tēnchi ki tōne sam dāng je jimbe nyamne jia 아주 니네 양아 저기 초위团的两个俩了今天这话什么大的别么是结清不了知道别能啊这个说说两个了知道这个的这边呢你想也就是两个这边呢要不这边看出来偏用过的就很多偏的要不的上边上大两个两个俩的安的那个偏白呢安看出来要看出来地用过的上大这啊这两个俩的这样这个然后电力团的上单的说出去另外有什么下来啊那是两个来的金边两面家的电力团的上单完呢电力团的上单就都是真的上单开发用是吧
That was just mentioned then. As beginners, we need to start with our reflection on the very coarse presentation of dependent arising. Because this is very easy to understand, and seeing it at the coarser levels, then this will serve as encouragement for us to want to meditate further and progress to subtler levels. So the easiest example, the example that the texts always start with, is if we think about agriculture. So with your garden at home or the work that farmers do, you take a seed, you plant it, a few conditions come together, and then slowly that seed transforms, and later you have a plant, and then maybe a flower or a crop will grow. So this is very easy to understand. This shows a very coarse presentation of both dependent arising and cause and effect. And this is easy to understand. And then we can take this understanding and apply it to scenarios that we have direct experience of. And here you can take your understanding of dependent arising and apply it to your place of work. So there'll be a variety of different jobs that you do. Whatever your job is, dependent arising interplays throughout your work. So take this understanding that one thing depends on another. Results come about in dependence on causes. Causes lead to results. This is dependent arising. This is cause and effect too, but this is dependent arising. And then when you do this in your meditation, you can also do it during your day. So whatever activity you're engaging in your place of work, be aware that what I'm doing now will lead to a result. So therefore, this is an illustration of dependent arising. How well I do this work will have an impact on how desirable the result is. And if I cut a few corners, well, the result's going to be a little different. So this is something that we can call to mind repeatedly throughout the day, because everything we do or we think, it has an impact. There's this relationship of dependency. And then this is a skillful way to keep our understanding of dependency present within us. And then as we develop this habit and in our meditations we go to subtler levels, those subtler understandings then we will naturally be recalling throughout the day. And then in our meditation, we can also think about whatever other topics of meditation we're looking at. Let's say, for example, we're generating the wish to only bring benefit to others, not to whatever we do, whatever physical act we do, whatever way of communicating we engage in, or our way of thinking, may it only bring benefit to others. And we're meditating on generosity in this way, meditating on wanting to help others. So we can take our understanding of dependence arising and apply it to this very easily, because it's through helping others that we alleviate the suffering in their lives. So this is very clear. Through what we do, we help alleviate suffering in others. Through what we do, we help bring happiness to others. Likewise, through what we do, we bring happiness to ourselves. Moreover, we know from the presentation on cause and effect, we're creating virtue. This virtue will ripen in future lives in particular ways. So this is how we can take this presentation of dependence arising, apply it to our meditation on other topics such as generosity, and then during the day when we are engaging in beneficial activities to others, small or large, remind ourselves of this relationship of dependency. And we can do this again with everything else that we do, whether it's eating or drinking or exercising. We can think about that we are engaging in something which actually is a result of preceding causes. By engaging in this, results will follow. So there's a relationship of dependency. And in this way, we will become very familiar with the topic of dependency, and there's familiarity won't just be experienced on the meditation cushion, but will be carried throughout our activities.
Geshe Thubten Rabten Majibi Tuan and Shanlia and Simmaji Chatan, Gantia, Dending Gurva, and the Lugi, Namju Tone, and then Shanlia, and Namidona Majibi Tone, Shanlia, Tungatia, Gangatia, Yungore, Suzuki Geshe Yabu Tone, and Lugi Namju Yawoton, Dumbi Tone, and Shanlia, and Jiggy Digi to Yan Simmaji Suata, and the Yungura, the names are the Tenjin George, some Udangi, Jizang, Nay, Tinga, Chicken. 중국어를 세상에 넘겨야 엄마된 바다 아니 계시 약을 마셔봐 있나 콘솔 강한 체일이 콘솔 마기고 용으로 디 마기고 천 콘솔 강한 약을 엄마래 삼제 니네자 디토네 안나 저기 된지게 삼다도 안 마기시야다 안 넘겨도 나이네 아니 계시 약보시야다 넘겨도 약보되기 내 개발 된데 용고로 봐 진짜 니네자 아니 지금 저기 된지 저 숨다하디 Geshe Yabu Masheva, Nami Yabu Matambana, Kong Gangatigis, Cosi Makiwa Yungresana. And you answer course in Makiwa Corosana and calls to them you did, then I am you think I am Makiwa Chagism. Then he did some Tane, Tane and Shalia, and Chikisha the Yabushia down, and then Yabuagi, do some Tade, Chichari, and didn't begin. The Susurangi, Jinamgia, what Geshe Yabusheva and the Collier Samako and I give you good. Did you want to call the Gigi to two or the Yaburas, Narangi, Shally Pamper to two or some jet, and they let in it in the mood was. They need some of the Rabba, how Google, the Niki, then they need some Tenji, some Dashi, and now to get in the and then Sudanium the Tuchi, Geshe, the Karachi, and Jikja again. Down by Tenji in Namshara, some Tangi Tangi Chinan, Sheven, and Yawoyaki, Tende Panto Mudua.
I'm sure everyone's days are quite full. If you, if I were to look at your activities that you do from the moment you wake up throughout the day to when you lie down at night, there are many things that people engage in, whether it's at home, whether it's also in the place of work or socializing. There's a variety of physical activities and verbal communications that one is engaging in. So if you are cultivating this knowledge or this understanding of dependence arising, and if you are doing it not only in your meditation session, but you start to develop this habit of applying it throughout your activity, it can have quite a transformative effect. And so here we're just talking about dependence arising really on the courses, the roughest of levels. So, because and the reason for looking at this rough level, this coarse level, is because it's easy to understand. But we can, by using it in a skillful way, despite it being such a rough presentation, can have a profound impact on how we live our lives. So, for example, we think about how we interact with others, how we communicate with others, the impact that comes from how we speak to others, the words we choose, the tone we choose. And we see the impact that has on others. That the same sentence expressed with a differing tone can either bring happiness into the life of someone else or can make their day worse. Likewise, when we meet someone, if we have an open and relaxed and friendly expression, this as a cause has an impact on others. There's this relationship of dependency, and they will respond to us, or in their mind there will be a response of being relaxed and open in response to our facial expression. Likewise, if our mind is not open and spacious, but rather our mind is narrow and tight, then this is likely to be shown in our facial expression. And when we meet someone or just walk past someone without saying or doing anything, we can have a negative impact on them. So this isn't the impact we want to have on others. We generally want others to like us. We want to bring happiness into this world and bring happiness into, through our encounters with others. But in order to be able to do that, that is a result that depends on causes. It's dependent on causes. So those causes then come about to, in particular, our way of thinking, which then leads to our way of verbally communicating and our way of physically acting, such as our facial expression. So wanting to bring only good into this world, wanting to bring happiness to others, not wanting to add to the burden that others already carry. By thinking about dependent arising in this very easy way to understand, we will see the importance of guarding our mind, see the importance of keeping our mind in a positive, in a virtuous way, the importance of keeping our mind open, expansive, and spacious. And this then, through repeatedly recalling dependent arising, we will be encouraged to take care of our mind, knowing that from our mind, this leads to our speech being in a particular type, our behavior of a particular type, and that then has an impact on others. So we'll see this chain reaction from our mind right through to the impact that we have on others. So this is easy to understand. There's nothing that has been said here that is particularly astounding. It's easy to understand, and thereby it's easy to apply, it's easy to recall even when one is busy.
Abene michi shandachi sosunya siksu roda namgyu dusha roda anjike dine jike shevaina nanga lamsang juga samnang pale an simmaji wa chada pa jiklen wa samda gisi len malo bene so ada nga jik din chi simmaji wa chaya junguru wa jiza dere tole tenji namja samda baina jiza ngam jugi oda ko nga li di she so sa de sheba di kharchin sheba le na ko samlo la na ko le ni ko so jike sim 지게 그런 거 되바다 마틴 비게다 안 지게 마주에 돈에 시가 미드 카요 말해서 비게 소소게 안디 카요 말해서 니 용구에서 비게 된진 저와 주 삼다베나 아니 아직 소소 파줘라 코너사 녀모 온게 되니게 지게 라리아 되니 셰바이나 직수로다 되니게 넘기 두셨던 번 아데 카요 말다 콜 녀모 뭐 계셔서 코너 계와래 지산 되니자 Kondokena, Sosine, Kondoki, the Sosola Gangatic to us, Chisan Koya Kono Sasha, Kosim, Konyomo, want to you are Shamaso, Ninjas and Big Palia, and the Ninjero, some Ninja, some like Kokayo, Marasambena, and Anzulia, some the Ganga di Mare. Chisan didn't Masamben or Magic, Malia, Numbuto, no Kudu Chashil, some corner park, Chigi, Lelo, some part, didn't seem much you a child. In Palan Lobaina, and Dile Dujai, Ganga Cheshire to Goro, Dineza, and Dinekablina. 저기 안치고 녀모바 오셔서 왔다 가요 말스 이제 삼 되니게 삼다베나 저기 아니 두샤셔서 비 콘라야다 발렌을 심마기와 책임만 디네자 저기 디네캅리네 안 텐진 저와 삼단 델레티니티니 용도 콘로키네 심마기와 책이리 콘로키와나 콘로디와게 안치안레 직주부 차시야다 아니 지금 넘겨 두셔야 돼. 야, 인바래 그 유사적인 제부요 야를 봤어. 딩하도 나가야마 그런 카야 미들 카야마 그런 영어가 샤와서 진짜 이 제부요 해야 돼. 나디 내가 개미도아 선배나 소소 셈기부 차기래. 안에 강아 팅 말아. 진짜 되니게 토라가 된진 저와 저 삼다베네 랑기 샤리아 지시리 갑레네 된진 저와 삼다베네 샤리아 직주 마셔야 돼. 넘겨 두셔 맞된 발에 핑거와. 시행기 소소래 되는 셰바이나 아니 지 고아이나 소소기 아니 텐션 저와줘 삼다도 삼다웨나 소소이 심마기버야다 강아 마야이 핑거래 제가 되는 인자 랑기 샤레 셰야레 텐션 저와줘 삼다마나 디냠네 제로 추dim냠네 야고 용투 핑거를 봐 但现有说让要定记的电见这个就什大卡有嘛是把人家什大为呢随便人们利用了，就是电见这个就什大的随便人们来图我的，安尼出去人们来图我的。金边人们来图的话，就是第二个人上就人的两个就给地呢没给写的两个来的，你就给地呢查证好的会解决的话，就是第二个电见这个就什大为呢，是属于金边人们的。出去人的随便人们的，恰恰人们用头下的采购了。今天就是拉巴的话，今天什么大都做什么等一点啊，做呀，今天什么大的，你把切当我也去么采购了。
And what we be encouraged to do here is to, in a cushion, to think about dependence arising, and then to try and keep that. And the concept of dependence arising present throughout our activities. And we do this in a way that's not particularly profound, easy to understand, and because it's so easy to understand, we can recall it no matter what's going on in our day. And we do this repeatedly, and in this way we develop a habit. Through seeing the effectiveness of it, that habit is strengthened due to the wish to continue to do so. And so we've looked at one way that this can be done. Another very skillful way is when we encounter unwanted situations in the day. And possibly these happen every day, because these opportunities do come our way all too often. So if we think of situations when we do meet unwanted situations of any shade of severity, here too we remind ourselves about dependence arising. So let's say someone speaks to us in a harsh manner or in an abusive manner, or they show ingratitude towards us. So when someone speaks to us in such an unwanted way, if we have been training in the presentation on dependence arising on a meditation cushion, and we've been cultivating this habit of recalling it in the day, due to this habit, even in a time of potential danger in terms of our own afflictive minds arising, even then we can recall dependence arising because of the power of this familiarity. So when we remind ourselves, our inner voice speaks up and says, remember dependence arising. At that moment, because in this training process we've come to understand the workings of our own mind that much better, we can apply this to others. So we have seen how in dependence on our mind, we express ourselves, our facial expression is in a certain way, our way of communicating is in a certain way. That dependency we've seen within ourselves. When our mind is in a virtuous direction, a positive, open direction, this is reflected in how we interact with others. Likewise, when our mind is full of attachment or anger or narrow, that too is reflected. So with this understanding of ourselves, based on that, we can immediately apply to this person before us. And we'll see, just like when our mind is disturbed and we speak in a harsh manner or we show ingratitude, this person before me now is also afflicted. We may not know what is going on in their life, but what we do know for certainty is that this person right now is unhappy. Their mind is dominated by one or some afflictions. Maybe it's attachment, maybe it's anger, but maybe it comes from their wishes not being fulfilled, or maybe it comes from illness or something that they're worrying about. What it is actually isn't that important. What is important is that we remind ourselves that when our mind is disturbed, we express this and we take it out on others. And that is exactly what is happening to this person. So in the same way as when we do this, we are doing it without control. We didn't set out to interact with others like that, and later we probably regret the way we communicated. So too with this person before us now. They too are not in control. And they are not in control because their mind is dominated by their afflictions. Not being in control, being dominated by their afflictions, they are suffering. They are not experiencing happiness. So here, thinking about dependence arising, in relation to our own experience and applying it to others, independent on doing that, we understand their situation clearly. Compassion then naturally arises within us. So despite what this person has said, despite perhaps their bulging eyes and their red face, compassion arises within us. Our mind stays calm and gentle and spacious. And then we can respond in a way that's skillful, in a way that is of benefit to this person. Our peace of mind is not lost, in fact it's enhanced. And we can now act in a way that brings benefit to the suffering being before us. So what we see here is the training in dependence arising repeatedly over a sustained period on our cushion, taking that understanding and recalling it throughout our day in the way that I've been suggesting in these previous segments. And we can then apply it even in these difficult, unwanted situations. And what we see then is that dependence arising, our understanding of dependence arising, helps us with our training in ethical conduct, because it ensures that we don't bring harm to others. That's the training of ethics. Moreover, it ensures that we fulfill our wish to be of benefit to others, to help others, the practice of generosity. And then, of course, it helps us with the practice of patience and with love and with compassion. All of this comes about through training in dependence arising repeatedly over a sustained period, both on the cushion as well as keeping it in mind in our daily life.
Ordinary. And that in it, Nashi, so ya near Naza, Chikanga, Chumini, Ajinga, Chitinjin, Jerry, some Dama to be Kenji, Outanga, Nazi, time, look at it, then she said, some Nazi can strike some take some Jera and Kama Chungura, Dini, Chapel, Susugi. That Chitinjin, Jerry, Chuma says, sometimes you take it in Namja, sometime, is that you. Jingne national de Jungoma Sawa, it's in Guju, Nazachuma, Gudu Savajella, Jebudi, Imba, is that some Cheshawaska Mares, and some J and Denigi. And the Joinza, good you order you to a chili, Chesa, good again, could you again Giletino Tubaru, or a Gedi. Chesa, good again Giletino, whomever so two orders. Chesa, Sosugi, could you again Giletino. You can Yama just on a table, Nazi, but still, simply in the past, Kayamaris. It's not that cool. Nazi now, so you can get it never say yours. It's not touching yours. It's not touching what touchiada. And bench chair say to us and begin some time in the Ganchuma Ligua. And Kizzy, that same Matuba, say, never say that. I must give Yamagit lay. Kusasha, but they would let him go. She's not that Mamma Jemaji me arresta. Chizan could good years of a jet, we are in was. Chizan Tadon Shabbat, Jemanom watch Iris. They would Jemanom Gananom watch it, that yon Shabbat, Chizan that day. Chizan ding in your wake up there. Chizan, and that dinner she, Nana, Shinda, Semjim, Mongoy had the Nigi, Dumasa, Gusaje, Table, Dumanyo, Mongoy, Chizan, Dinishasada, me, Dumanyo, the Taji, Shensim Tamjil, Yom Horse, or some time. Chizan Denis seems to give an auditing in your idea, Simjan Tamji do not depart to name Yungu some Tavan, Sosolia, and a chick, Sim Gama Chumada, and a chick, and the Ajik Denigis, Gama Liduca, King Alamdu Jua, said Sosugi Shalia, Jamje, Nisha Santa Shengi, Dumadi, Ninu, some time, and Sosolia, Dumayungu, the Inaya, Disam David Delia, Mazukawa. Lapchimusatu, which is a Tenji and Namja, some Daji, and to Gama said, King Alam to you, Tenji and Namja, some Daji, Lucien and to Gamadi, Gama Chung, Tatu, Yungura. So there are two, maybe we can say two sources of, sources of our suffering. So what we've just referred to is those that are external to us, such as people that we encounter, and then those that are internal to us. So this could just could either be when we are mentally unhappy, just through our own inner world, being in a dark place, or it can be, for example, through illness. So when we have some kind of unwanted personal situation. So here
we can also use the presentation on dependent arising to transform how we experience this unwanted situation. So if we take as an illustration, being diagnosed with a severe illness, this is of course an unwanted situation. No one hopes for this, and we spend much of our lives trying to be healthy and ensure we don't become ill. But the time will come when we do, the time may come when we do receive such a diagnosis. So at that time, how we think about the situation is of critical importance, because how we think about the situation transforms how we experience it. So here in this illustration, I'll talk about illness, but this can be really applied to any situation, especially where there's these minds of inner turmoil. So here, think about that the situation, this unwanted situation that you're encountering, this has come about not out of the air, not causelessly, but it's a dependent arising. Causes that we ourselves accumulated probably in a past life have now ripened in this as this result, such as an illness. So what has come about is due to causes that have been accumulated, they have now ripened, and the result is being experienced. So there's no point getting upset about the situation, as unwanted as it is, because causes are accumulated, a result follows. That is the nature of cyclic of cause and effect. From causes come results, and now a result met its conditions, or the cause met its conditions and ripened into this result. So that leads to a mind of acceptance, a calmer mind. And with this calmer mind, we can then think, so what are the solutions? What can I do about this situation? And often there is something that can be done to some degree. Perhaps one can solve the problem, perhaps not. Maybe, but the mind will be calmer. And we'll look, what can I do? What can't I do? And so through this process of acceptance, one transforms not necessarily the situation, but one's experience of it. And this then comes about through thinking about dependence arising. And in these severe situations where we've encountered something that we really truly don't want to experience, we can transform the situation with ease in dependence on having trained over a sustained period on a meditation cushion and utilizing that experience, that knowledge in our daily lives. Then when we meet these great unwanted situations, based on that independence, on that experience, even these can be transformed. And then, with sincerity, and with a calmer mind now, we can, with sincerity, remind ourselves of the situation of others. This unwanted situation, no matter how bad, this is being experienced by others right now in this world, not by ourselves alone. Others have created similar causes and are experiencing those results. And there's a far greater quantity of beings experiencing suffering beyond what I've experienced in this life. And this then immediately takes us away from ourselves and our own awful situation. We're reminded of the suffering of others. And then we can, with this calmer mind, this more open and spacious mind, we can generate this sincere wish that through this negative karmic seed that I accumulated now ripening and me experiencing its result, through this, may no other being experience such a result at all. And through the virtue that I accumulate through thinking in this way, may all beings be freed of suffering, and may all beings experience only happiness. Here one accumulates great waves of merit through the minds of love and compassion, and as this arises within oneself, one with sincerity dedicates it for others, accumulating ever further virtue to continue to dedicate for the welfare of others. And this then is a very skillful way to use one's understanding of dependent arising. And the way in this segment I've spoken about dependent arising, it's not particularly profound, it's not deep and subtle, but it's difficult to apply in these challenging situations unless one has trained well before. And if one has trained well before, it's second nature. And it can be done to great effect.
chỉ đi chơi là cầu siêu chuyện na, chỉ là cầu siêu chuyện, bên ngoài đi rồi thì xem mà na, xem mà là cầu siêu na, anh xem mà là chính cái điều bao siêu chuyện cái, điều bao siêu chuyện xem mà mà chơi được rồi, chơi cái rồi, chỉ là đến bây giờ xem mà na, đã两个那的，将来是呢，将来的俩cầu siêu差不多，将来的来个điều bao siêu chuyện么重要的，只是điều bao siêu chuyện么重要，将来的特别个那些呢，将来的啥都要中国了吧，只是今那些啊这个。给教出来的，别要不的上街的了，搞好了修起以为呢，电竞这还是你搞好的电竞这话讲，就是你要不的什么要不得了什么大玩呢，得了的呢，你这个对你修起么也用都是，对你修起么都给完呢，对你修起么得了的呢，你给教主用过来，借用过来是，老人带过来是，你教的老人带完呢，信用过来是，对你个用这个电竞。电这个积累，电的用户都什么？电这个那么叫上当的，其实电那给予教主要别要我的是别搞的修起么来苹果的，其实俺就电竞这话就什么单位呢？你什么单位的尊重给来苹果的，尊重给人们接来苹果的。
Further way, one can use one's understanding of dependence arising, because we've looked at a number of situations where our understanding of dependence arising has an impact on our ethical conduct, on our generosity, on our patience. So one can guess then what we'll be looking at next. So if whatever it is that we want in our life, or that we do not want, if that wish is strong, we will strive to ensure that we achieve what we desire, or we do not encounter an unwanted situation. The strength of mind that leads us to strive for something is entirely dependent on the wish to achieve that or to avoid it. And here we can think of people in their careers. Whether they're starting out perhaps first as students, or they're entering into their career and they're striving to achieve a particular goal, or perhaps great athletes and sports people. None of them have just woken up and as being a world champion. This is something that has been achieved through great effort, persistently over a lengthy period of time, with a single pointed determination. And that single-pointed determination, that just wasn't bestowed upon them. They didn't take a pill and there it was. Rather, they cultivated this wish to achieve this goal. So in dependence on repeatedly thinking about the desirability of this goal they wanted to achieve, the wish to strive and put everything else aside to achieve this one goal, rose in their mind and dominated their mind. And they continued to cultivate this wish ever stronger, so that whatever obstacles they encounter, they could overcome those obstacles, always knowing that the achievement of that goal is worthwhile. So this is an illustration of dependence arising. And this then, if we apply to the various goals of the Buddha Dharma, or to the cultivation of the dependence arising itself, we will then, through repeatedly over a sustained period, thinking about the great benefits that come to having a realization of dependence arising, this will lead to us to want to strive for this realization. It will lead to a transformation of our priorities. It will lead to us to being much more easily able to find the time to have a sustained daily meditation practice. It will lead us to have the strength of mind to want to recall dependence arising throughout our day, no matter what we are doing, to look for the truth of dependence arising, or the applicability of dependence arising in whatever mundane or exceptional, perhaps, activity we are engaging in. So this mind of joyous perseverance, it comes about through thinking about the desirability of the goal, giving rise to a strong wish to achieve this goal. And cultivating this mind again and again and again, not just if it arises in you now hearing this talk and leaving it at that, but generating it again and again and again, just like every famous athlete or sports person has done in order to become someone exceptional in this world.
주름 가서래 된지로 삼담 두마라 제산년에 장도 제오도 년에는 아주도 직보 되게 갑이야 나가 지기야 된지도 오당이 시한이야 직수시하다 된시야 시한 강아 되게 되신 지 말이야 될래 때는 연구를 해서 매삼다 내 되는 제발나 되는 시하고 연구해서 누구지는 년에는 아주기 장도를 해야 되샤 양내 양도 삼다야 되샤 지나 양내 양도 삼다와 있는 되니 아니 지게 Geshe 갑라 아니 다다디 신이래 양내 양도 삼다샤바 이제 뒤에 남산 전제 아니 디시비 갈라 비슷한 두고래 지나 이 미션이 소설이야 지 콘라지 직수다 넘겨셔베나 오당아티들이야 아니 지 파콘란데 야고요 뭐그 가서는 그 콘랑 디시 디겐지는 아주 직수된 넘겨 된 거로 와서 디네 상콜 카요 말아 디니스 미술이나 연구를 했으면 데니기 연구를 했으면 노수네 양내 양도 삼당 양한주게 기엔데 마트니엘은 아주 야 장도르제 데니기 용배 갑라 데니야 직 잠제고 이지고 지구를 했으면 양내 양도 삼당에는 데니 삼당셔네 미션다 지금 소소를 직수의 교주제라면 감사 디코도 될이야 제행제 어디 년마 삼바 나신지는 파 지게 된지게 남마 삼다지고 좀 맞추고지 파 쇠보금 투약이 연구를 제가 되는 장아 중요했네 장도에서도 전 양내 삼도 장도시하고의 계심을 책도 변내들이想저 아주 저도바디 칼라사나 저도바 저기 또 강아지 세투가 등가서 하고 그러와 진짜 되는 하고 거네 안직 나중에 칼라드니만은 제리제 파 사샤바이나 제만 저도도 어디에 있으면 사셔셔지 산에 강아세 두고로 지사에 저도바디 칼라산에 세투가 하고 위네 칼라드 제리 맞지 망매시 샤샤바이나 제만 저도요도 니네 저도에 칼라사에 메로 메디 강아세 투에 메로 어비 디나시 아주기 텐디게 삼두치는 삼단에 강아세 투여래 삼내야네 야도 제리제바이나 강아데 체야도 먼저 남사디 강아데 마야데 긴야람도 교르바지 용거래 진짜 되네 장아도 녀려 검시로지 제리제 매바나 아주 되네 텐데 남가 삼땅고리 디진데 연구에서 장아도 고야고제 하고 하시 아니 지게 이나들이야 검지로 테매바이나 검지 테매나 뭐바나 되니게 모수 강아 체야도 Delia Lamsa, some Tatu Mary, two Marwa, the names and Yelene, and Jugi, attending Namsha, some Taducin, Uncomrija, Bemasication Machawar, Cesar, Jeremy Chigia, the Dilabjedi, tending some Nashe, Talabja Rapan Pa, tending Namja Raparak, Mahazuki Chacha, some Tangoza, and the Japugone, some Dana, Kanga Seta, or the Niki Jeremy Labja, on the Nation that didn't do Lobsang.
So we've looked in this verse here at how we can apply the understanding of, or the presentation of dependence arising to all the various practices on the path. And we've in particular looked at ethical conduct and generosity and patience and joyous perseverance, as well as referring to love and compassion. So from this we can see this, perhaps we can say this unique benefit of dependence arising, or this rather maybe this extraordinary benefit of dependence arising, how it has an impact on all of our other trainings, our other practices. So seeing this, we should understand quite clearly why this is such a remarkable and praiseworthy teaching, and why Rinpoche in this text has praised Buddha Shakyamuni so for dependence arising. And moreover, this, to be able to apply this understanding of dependent arising in this broad way, this is something that doesn't come about naturally to people in the world. It doesn't come about to us in dependence merely on hearing one or two teachings or even several teachings on this. It only comes about if, just like accomplished athletes, we train, and we train with great devotion to our training, with great commitment to our training. In this way, we can start to transform our way of thinking through developing new causes and experiencing new results. So I'd encourage you, when you're reflecting on dependent arising, to reflect on these kinds of situations and how you can use your understanding of dependent arising. So if we take what we've been looking at recently, those of dealing with difficult, unwanted situations, such as when people approach us, or illness, or an illness, other kinds of unwanted situations, these are very difficult to deal with. These are very difficult to deal with skillfully if one hasn't trained. So on your meditation cushion, engage in reflection through recalling past events where someone perhaps spoke to you in an unwanted way, and think, how skillful did I respond? What happened in my mind? What arose in my mind? And see this process of dependency and dependence on what they said. Certain minds arose. And from these minds, suffering arose. From this, an expression came either directly to that person or later to someone else, etc. So we see this process of dependency. And then we think, so how could I have responded more skillfully? And we go through a role play of a more skillful way to think. And we do so reminding ourselves at every step of dependency. And if we do this repeatedly, not just once or twice, but repeatedly, then when these opportunities come, and they do come, we will have rehearsed what to do. And like a skilled actor has learned their lines well, we will immediately be triggered, not with an affliction, but with our training. And our training will remind us that this person before us now is speaking to us in this particular way due to their mind being dominated by afflictions. And therefore, they are suffering, they are experiencing pain, and they are merely taking out their inner pain on me. And with this understanding, naturally love and compassion will arise within us. We will not want to harm the suffering being. We will want to help the suffering being. So this then comes about only in dependence on our prior training, our repeated prior training. And so we can understand this with a very clear analogy that we all don't want to suffer, and a way of suffering that we don't enjoy is one of hunger. And we know that if we are hungry, we need to solve this suffering, and the way to solve it is to eat something. And so therefore it's important in the home not just to have food, but maybe to have some pre-prepared food or some snacks tucked away, because then when one's hungry, easy to solve the problem. But if one hasn't prepared, one hasn't done any shopping, and the cupboard's bare and the fridge is bare, then one's hungry, what to do? There's nothing that can be done. So in such a case, one hasn't prepared, and one can't solve the problem. And likewise, with the difficulties in an unwanted situation in our life, if we have trained well, if we have developed skill and ability within ourselves, if we have developed new habituation through our meditation and our reflection, then when we encounter unwanted situations, whether it is from another person or whether it's our own inner turmoil, then with a joyous mind, we will have the opportunity to put our training into practice. And in this way, we can transform awful, unwanted circumstances into great waves of merit and be of immediate benefit and ever to the person there, and through this merit be of ever greater benefit to all beings. So the advice from Je Rinpoche to us in this verse here is, through reflecting on dependent arising, on our cushions, taking that understanding and apply it in a coarse way, a way that's easy to understand throughout our day. Because every action we do is dependent on a wide variety of mental processes, physical activities, and so forth. And in this way, we keep our understanding of dependent arising ever present, and we can use it in the most skillful of ways. So we'll conclude here for tonight. If you have some questions, then please feel free to ask. Yes, Tanya.
I think section that you can't guess, but I missed it.
Sure.
Is cause and effect synonymous with dependent arising?
Is cause and effect synonymous with dependent arising? Le gyundre tang tendro de dunchi kerepe.
That gyundre said mare the le gyundre said gyulet in the tribuki said and the lelet in the tribuki said chituan was the tendri jerabachik. Jerabachik. Tendri said the Mamburu captain. Gyundre le gyundre member ge chilogi and you sabalet ne you giri said so gyundri tendero gyundri tendela rig Mamburu. That is Lela tene jebu dunga yungure le kewasan dewa yungure saidi ko gyundri tende jerabachile. Ne gyundri tende di member ge tene tape tende said tende sa capture chagor.
So no, they are different, but there is a very clear relationship between the two. So cause and effect then is the presentation on karma, and there are many different aspects in the presentation on causes and results, or causes and effects that one could look at, the very different types of ripening results, the different kinds of causes, etc. So that's the presentation on karma. Then the presentation on dependence arising is quite different, but there's a clear link in that one of the types of dependency is dependent on causes and conditions. So in dependence on causes and conditions, then things come into being. So in the context of all impermanent or phenomena or compounded phenomena, these are dependent on causes and conditions. So they're two different presentations, but there's a bridge between them. Okay.
All right.
Right, thank you very much.